And good day, everybody. And how are you all doing today?
Hello, hello. I hope everybody is warm.
Yes, especially with that cold breeze that's coming actually from Michigan, lower Michigan area.
Don't blame us. No, no,
So,
no, no.
yes, we got to. Anyway, so my name is Brother Chris, and my co-host.
I'm the Gypsy lady, Eva.
Yes, so we got to blame Michigan. The reason why is because you guys blamed us for the fire in the summer of
Oh,
last
all
year.
right. Tit for tat.
So yeah, um, so yeah, I was watching actually yesterday, and it was coming actually from Silver something Beach. That's actually in the lower portion of Michigan. Um, I watch these guys that drive around throughout the states, and they drive actually in the snowstorm. They drive actually in tornadoes and all that, and they do it live.
Mm.
So I watch these guys, and these guys have been driving around crazy. The only thing I have to do with complaint though is you all. What the heck is you all? I'll ask you that, Eva.
What do you mean, you all?
Well, all I hear from these guys though is you all. I don't know what that word
That's
means.
more of a southern thing. Like, y'all coming over now?
I'm
Y'all got that message there?
I'm still a bit lost. What does that mean though?
You all. Everyone included.
Okay.
That's the nearest I've ever been able to figure it out.
Okay. All right.
Good God.
Yeah, because that's what these guys are saying, right? And I'm like, what the heck are they talking about?
That's like I say, that's more of a southern term.
Yeah. It's like
Interesting.
so, but yeah, no, I've also been watching. It's a couple. They're from Tennessee, and I know so that the Great River down there has flooded. It was flooded pretty bad, and they also got snow down there, and they shut down everything. And there's green grass.
Green grass. What is this green grass? Well, I shouldn't say that
So
because
true. Look at us.
up until we had the cold, it was green grass out there.
Yeah, yeah,
And when we did get a snow, it'd be there, nice, pristine, beautiful blanket of snow. And 2 hours later, it was gone.
yeah. So true. And also, yesterday was Dolly Parton's birthday.
Well,
So,
doesn't that just roll you in the sauce and make you happy?
so hey, I was a big Dolly fan. The
Oh,
rest of my
I'm
life.
sorry.
So
Actually, to be honest with you, I admired that woman tremendously. She came from such adjunct poverty, if you want to put it that way.
yeah,
Did not let it get her down. She became famous. She had Dollywood, and she did it all without much of an education. I mean, obviously she knows, but she has something, and I just admire her for that. I think she's a tremendous lady.
yes, she is, especially at her
And
young
this
seventies.
little story,
Go ahead.
cute little story, quick one. Couple were wandering around Dollywood, and they finally decided to sit down. And they were an older couple, and they sat down. And this woman came up and said, "Can I sit on your, share the bench with me?" And she said, "Ah, sure, go sit down. What do you think of Dollywood?" And she's just come to find out they were talking with Dolly herself, but she did not have the blonde wig and the whole Dolly Parton persona.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And apparently she wanders around Dollywood a lot.
Yeah, she does. She is again though. It's like what you were saying though. She's a caring person. She does a lot actually out there, um,
Oh,
and and it's like holy
tremendous.
cow! It's really surprising what she does.
And I just, like I say, I just admire her. She came from nothing and created this. You know why she created Dollywood, don't you? Because there was so much poverty in the area that she was raised in,
Yeah,
which is where Dollywood is at. that she created this so that there would be jobs for these people.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? That just blows me away.
Yeah, and a lot of her family still lives in the same area,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And it's surprising though, right? Even though that there's not really anything really up there in those hills, um, there's still family up there. But yeah, talking about family though, let's get actually on. We have a special request. This was actually sent in today. And this is from Chrissy Dawn. Now, Chrissy Dawn, though, she's our good friend from Thunder Bay, Ontario. She's down in London, Ontario. She's with me right now. This is a pre-recorded show, so she's with me right now. And the question though she has though is to do with her son, and her son's name is Damien. She wants to know what Damien's year is going to be like.
This year?
Yeah, I've already drawn the cards already, so cards just fell in my hand. So that was meant for Damien, but I'll see what you get. I'll give it to you first.
Oh, okay. I'm just turning the cards up now.
No problem.
Interesting.
Because I got 5 cards that fell out.
Really?
Yes.
The first card I threw up was Jeez. First card I drew was the Strength card. Second card was the 8 of Pentacles or coins. Third card was the 3 of Pentacles.
Okay.
Which is interesting, but because 8 and 3 is 11, a master number. And the last card was the 5 of rods or wands, which is that's the last card. We will get. My first impression when I pulled this up is I'm not sure if it's the beginning or the middle of the year, but I would say sort of in the middle of the okay, the beginning of the year. He may have a few little medical problems, nothing serious, don't get all, but just little things that he's going to need some medical attention. But after that, it's going to be good. It's kind of interesting because the 2 cards that I pulled up together, which is the 8 and the 3, like I say, that's 11, which is a master number. And it kind of shows you 2 master builders together here.
Yeah.
And I think this will be a good year for him. He will make some progression in a lot of things. He will also have many what's the word I'm looking for? Not setbacks. What's the opposite of a setback?
Adventures.
Pardon?
Adventures.
Adventures. Well, that too. But he will move ahead rather than move backwards. 2 steps forwards.
One.
Isn't that a song? You know.
No. 1 step one step back, 2 steps forward.
Okay, but that's beside the point. Anyway, he will have progression. There's going to be a lot of progression. And the last card, which is the 5 of Wands, again, I get this. He may have to fight for some of this stuff. But that's towards the end of the year. And my thought is that it's not really going to be a medical thing, but it will be in some of his development. Because he is only, like you say, 3 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, he just turned 3.
I have found sometimes, never having children, I shouldn't even be, but it's like they kind of like progress, and all of a sudden they just kind of backslide a little, then progress, and sometimes they just kind of stand still. And that's what I'm thinking is he's going to come to a standstill. Because if you look at this, they're all waiting for something.
Yeah.
They're waiting for something. So I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. And it's going to be a good thing. It's not going to be bad. I don't get a lot of bad stuff. Okay, your turn.
All right. So, Chrissy, What I basically got those, I got 5 cards, which is what I said at the beginning. Now these cards, though, 2 of the cards were face up, and then the 3 cards were face down. Now the ones that were face up though is the first one though is not natural spirit. Sorry, nature spirit. So that's the first one, nature spirit. Yeah. All right. Um, right now the one light's not working, so I do apologize for that. The second one though that came out, which is thunder drum. All right. So what basically though is at the beginning of the year, with natural spirit, basically though things are gonna flow fine. Sort of like what Eva was saying. All right. Damien though is going to start doing a lot more drumming. I know though that he was given last year that drumstick, but he's going to be doing a lot more drumming. He's going to start praising. He's going to start pounding. He's going to start demanding things. Sort of like what Eva said. He's going to be going forward. But the thing though is he's kind of like forceful. I want this. I want that. I want this. He wants to try to get himself a lot more forward, actually within life. Now, since there was 3 cards that were turned upside down, these are kind of the setbacks. Spirit Keeper of the Self. All right. That one right there. Next one was Great Mystery. I'm trying to get that sort of forward for you guys. So Great Mystery. Last one though is Spirit Keeper of the West. Normally those with these cards though, if they are face up, we're always looking at positive. But again, though, Spirit Keeper of the Self. All right. Spirit Keeper of the Self though. What I would say though is you might have to do one more trip actually down here in Southern Ontario for Damien. Next one though is actually Great Mystery. All right. Things are going to come together. You're going to be like, whoa, he has grown. It's going to be a great mystery to you altogether of how he is growing stronger. All right. It's kind of a setback though. The reason why is because you're gonna be setting your mind. Okay, he's gonna be going a little bit slower, but he's going way faster. Another setback though is just actually Spirit Keeper of the West. Spirit Keeper of the West though basically though, is saying though that the west winds are gonna blow him actually right in the right direction. All right, instead of the south winds, it's gonna be the west winds blowing him in the right direction of his life. So that's what I have. So yeah. All right, we'll be back after this quick little break, and we'll be right back.
Amy? Hello? Can you find me? Can you find me? I'm here. Behind you, look. Behind you. I'm behind you.
Another great podcast to listen to is Haunting Live Podcast with your host Trevor, interviewing tons of people throughout the world. Listen on any of your podcast providers.
Alrighty, well thanks a lot everybody. Hopefully you guys actually are having a wonderful time. So tonight though, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking actually at the footnotes actually of spiritual meanings actually of waking up in between 3 and 5. I know this note saying basically in between around 3, but it says technically in between 3 and 5. So basically though, it's a good question, a couple questions for you guys. You guys can send in your reply. Do you often wake up around 3 and 5 and know something is up? Do you wake up in the middle of the night and feel like you're receiving something from the spiritual world, from your spirit guides, or from any other spirits, but it isn't sure what it is? Waking up in the early hours of the morning and contemplating what the messages are. All right, so that's some of what we're going to be taking a look actually at tonight. So yeah, I'm going to pass it over to Eva.
Oh, all right.
So.
Hang on. First of all, you've got to start ruling out possible let's try this again. Possible physical causes. And that includes a cat jumping on your chest, meowing in your face. Okay, laughter off. soundtrack there. You can't, you've got to have sometimes there is a reason why you're waking up, and it has to do with the physical thing. One of the things that they suggest is, first of all, you got to start taking care of yourself. Watching your food intake, watching your exercising, get plenty of exercise and rest. I mean, that is so important. And because you do start taking care of yourself, you will gain more clarity and be able to distinguish what is energy and what is, whether it's physical or if it's a combination of physical and spiritual. But the idea is start exercising. You don't have to go to the gym and weight lift and all this other stuff, just walking. Another thing is make your self-care, your own self, a priority. Get plenty of water. I cannot emphasize that enough, considering what I have gone through, and I was not much of a water drinker. I have started drinking more and more water, and it's like a miracle. Don't skip breakfast. That's one of the big things that a lot of people, oh, I don't need breakfast. Yes, you do. Even if it's one of those little sandwiches you can get, like Jimmy Dean is one of them. It doesn't have to be the fried egg and bacon, although bacon's never a bad thing. You know that. And the idea is to keep start that nutritional thing in the morning. And the last thing is get outside and socialize. And again, I cannot stress the importance of that. Because of what I've been going through, I have not been able to get out of the house, and I miss that tremendously. And it is very important that you do get out and you do socialize. It makes a big difference. And doing all these things to the best of your ability will allow you this process to go as smoothly as possible. And when you have a consistent sleep schedule and you are taking care of your body, it is easier to tell what this waking up at this time and the spiritual background behind it. And now I turn it back to Chris.
All right, all right. So also in the next one that we're gonna be like doing though is waking up at 3 a.m. and the meanings. All right, you often wake actually up at 3 a.m. and you're always trying to figure out why are you always waking up at 3. And that's the precise time. Usually it's 3 o'clock. All right. I know a lot of us, though, we do wake up usually in between the 3 o'clock hour, which is in between 3 and 4. But have you ever figured out what the meanings are? So there is a lot of great meanings altogether. One of them, though, is getting to the meditation actually position and sit actually basically on the side in silence. Do some meditation around that hour. Right, you're going to connect more with your spirits. Spend a few minutes sitting actually in silence with your eyes closed. All right, these are some tips that are going to help you out actually to get in contact directly with your spirits altogether. See if anything comes to the surface, such as a word, symbol, an image, or say emotion. That's one other thing. Before you go back to sleep, everything down. So basically, those write down the stuff that actually in a footnotes if you can. Anything that's come up. The reason why is because you will be surprised, though, is if you keep a footnote of whatever you've done, especially with meditation or even just sitting there in silence, just thinking with a blank mind and whatever comes in, you will be surprised exactly what patterns will actually happen. And again, those you can get in contact more with your spirits that way. So I can pass it back.
Okay. If you are waking up at between 3 and 5 in the morning, and it becomes a repeated thing, start keeping a record. The symbols and the messages we receive can have both a universal and a personal meaning. And you need, with this record, it will help. And when I get a message from spirit, one of the first things that I do is ask my spirit guide for more specific questions about what is being given to me. Sometimes I get great clarity on it, other times I don't, but I keep asking, and that's the other thing, keep asking. And as I go about my day, I keep it in mind, and if something similar pops up, I make a note of that in my diary. And after allowing the message to kind of just sit there and kind of simmer for a while, I will come up with an answer, but sometimes it takes a couple answers to get to the right one. But once this happens, I will do more research on some of the words or symbols that seem to be coming up. You can do it with a Google search, or you can, you can also talk to other people who are into the spiritual thing, and just see how closely what you are picking up matches to what other people have. Okay.
Yep. So this one's gonna be from both of us. And the first thing though is, why do we usually wake up between those hours? One theory though that has actually been forward though is actually within their spiritual journey, and it's not because the veil is so thin. It's basically because the energy at that time can get contact with us directly. Because the reason why is because we're basically at a different astral plane. Instead of being constantly busy, we're always trying to focus at constantly going, which is busy. But right when we're sleeping, our mind is more at ease. It's more leveled. It's like taking a ruler, putting that ruler flat, and it's one of those measuring rulers that actually has the weights on. If you have usually one side up, that's not leveled. So we try to have everything leveled. Our mind's going to be more focused, and energy's going to be able to talk to us a little bit better. What else would you say about that, Eva?
I am smiling because I was just thinking the only reason I wake up at that time is I got to go to the bathroom. But seriously, even that, it's how can I, a nudge from your spirit guides, wake up, and because something's coming through. But I would say that in that awake, unawake, or asleep and waking, that's where we are free to really connect with our spirits guides, and you really shouldn't be afraid of it. And I know in the article, the footnotes that you sent me, it said that the veil between the spiritual and the physical world is the thinnest between those two times. And I really don't agree with that, because I think that veil can be made thin, or is thinner, when you are ready to get there, if that makes any sense.
Thank you. It's so true though.
But maybe it's at that time, it's when you're ready, you're standing at the veil ready to look beyond it, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
And we ascribe this to kind of a spookiness because it's late at night, it's during the night when it's dark, rather than in the light. But it can happen in the light too. I've had experiences, and that's about all I got to say about it.
Yeah, and it's true though. They're indicating though it usually happens during these REM cycle. All right, so that's right when it usually happens. Another thing though that they actually indicate also in this though is to do with your chakras. Your chakras are more aligned at that whenever you're more or less relaxed. If you're, it could be asleep. Now, sleep though doesn't really have to be always at night, which is what Eva was just saying. And it's so true though, because sleep can be during the daytime. What do you think about workers that work at night? Their nighttime is during the day. right? So basically, though, is you're letting your power to work more with your spirit guides when you're more relaxed, and that's what we were saying a little bit earlier, a couple steps back, though, right? Is get more relaxed, get your mind clean, get everything focused, clear your mind, and that's always the best thing. So yeah, so there's a lot of great. There is some stuff, but yeah, I gotta agree with you there. 3 o'clock in the morning. I think the reason why is because the mockery.
Because of what?
The mockery,
Ah,
right? Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right? I think that's why people always say 3 o'clock. But again, though, it can be at any time, any hour
oh
that
yes.
you have to have your mind clean.
If you are truly open and are willing to be open, you can be daydreaming and pick up something
Yeah.
at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when you're supposed to be working.
A lot of people do that.
Well, I'm retired now, so it doesn't matter. But one of the things that you got to also do is set up boundaries too, because spirit loves to give you messages, and they love to make sure that you know, and they love doing this because you're so open and you got the chutzpah to get out there, and after a while you get damn awful tired. So you have to start saying, nothing tonight, I need my sleep. Or well, that's basically it. Not tonight. I'm,
Yeah.
and yet they may not wake you up, but you will have inspiration. You will have dreams that will inspire you to search for more deep meaning in them. And one of the things that they talk about in the footnotes is that put a cocoon around you. They say use a golden light. I always use a white light.
Yeah.
That's how I was taught. Use the white light.
Same here.
Yeah, the golden light that's right from God. Boy, you don't want to mess with that one. But putting this white light around you. One of the most beautiful ones I heard was from a Buddhist that I know. And what he did is he would say, I vision myself sitting on a lotus blossom, and I pull up the leaves, the petals of the lotus blossom. And once it's all around me, I am safe. I will not be disturbed. I just love that image. It just has always stayed with me. And just be aware of that, and just tell your spirit guides, back off, dudes. No, you don't do it that way.
Well, another great way, though, is if you want your room to be actually for spirits not to be able to go into, put up a boundary. All right. I'm sort of like what you were saying, though, is put up a boundary. Say, okay, you're not allowed in this certain area. All right. That could be within the bedroom. That could be within the kitchen. That could be in the living room or whatsoever. Put up a certain boundary. All right. So the way nothing actually from the spiritual world can come in. That way you can actually more or less relax. Because right when we deal with the spiritual world, we get so drained so fast. Right? And it's like, gosh. So, like yesterday, though, is right when I was talking with Chrissy actually on the phone on Facebook Live. Again, though, she's coming from Thunder Bay. She's down. Should be down right now. I was actually putting myself actually as astral projecting. No, I was moving actually ahead at the airport, but the spirits were coming to me, right? And I was trying not to let that happen, so I should have put up boundaries. So yeah. So.
It's kind of interesting when you talk about this sort of stuff, waking up at a specific time. Actually, I've read several different over the years, different articles that say you wake up from 1 to 3, that means this. From 3 to 5, it means this. It's 2 to 4, it means this. There's specific reasons why you wake up at specific times. And I know the 3 to 5 is considered the prime time for messages from the spirit world.
Yeah.
And but there's other things that can influence it too, and that can be, from an astrological standpoint, if that makes any sense. Where the moon is, where where is your astrological moon
Yeah.
is. It all has influence about when this happens and how this happens. I don't know. I never got into that because I never got into astrology. That was never one of my big things.
Yeah.
So
I know lately, though, a lot more people are actually having this problem, but not usually between 3 and 5. It could be actually at any time. And they're saying, though, that one reason why, though, lately is because of the solar, from what has been lately going on with the sun.
I hadn't heard that one.
They recently have found the sun actually has a dark hole.
Mm-hmm.
And it's big enough, though, that it can actually swallow Earth here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they're saying, though, that if it does happen, right, there's supposed to be a twin Earth. But everything's on the road the wrong way instead of the way that we're going. So basically,
that was a movie.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, go look it up. I think it's called The Far Side of the Sun.
Okay.
Or something along that line.
Yeah.
There is a Earth that's exactly the opposite of us in the orbit. There's actually 2 Earths, one exactly opposite of each other.
Yeah, yeah. But there again, those they're saying directly it's because of the solar flares that have been lately going on. Now these solar flares have been going actually on quite a bit.
I take that back. It's the other side of the sun.
Okay. All right. But yeah, no, with the solar flares could actually, some people could be more sensitive and get more messages from the spirit world that way. How do you personally get in contact with your spirit guides?
Me?
Yeah. Instead of 3 to 5.
Well, sometimes I get this tap on my shoulder, and I mean it's a literal, like I'm somebody's, hey. Sometimes it's a flash of light.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Sometimes I hear a voice. Can I relate a small story?
Go ahead. You're my co-host, so.
I was at the doctor's office. It was the new doctor, and I was filling out the forms, and the question came up, do you hear voices? Well, previous to filling out the form, I was talking with the doctor, and I don't know, I said something about being a psychic and, the whole thing. And so when she asked the questions she saw that I didn't fill it in, and she says, do you hear voices? And I said, how do I answer that? And she goes, you're perfectly normal. Don't worry about it.
It's like, gosh. So...
Psychics do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to that question for myself, the way I get in contact more or less with my spirits is just relaxing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the best way I do, even with my ancestors. Is just relax. And that's one thing I'm finding in this world not really doing, though, is fully relaxing. We're constantly always busy, right? Like, I bet everybody that's listening right now that's been listening to our podcasts over years constantly have something else going on in their mind. And that's one thing, though, is like, no, clear your mind, relax, and listen to us here at Divine Oracle Podcast. So, anyways, those I do say thanks a lot, Eva, for another great show.
Hang on just a moment. Just a
No
moment.
problem, no problem. If you got anything else to shoot, go right ahead.
The movie was, it bugged me. The movie was Journey to the Far Side of the Sun,
Okay.
and it was a British science fiction one. It was very interesting. Anyway,
All right.
that's beside the
yeah,
point.
if you guys want to check out that movie, check out the movie. Again, I do say thanks a lot, Eva.
And the only other thing I would say about this waking up is, really pay attention to the first thoughts you have as you're waking up, because I think that's where it becomes very clear as to what is not, that sort of a thing. And like we were saying, as we were talking, it just doesn't necessarily have to be at that time. It can be other times. Spirit, this in time in the spirit world is very different than time in our world. So they work when you are ready to receive them. And don't be afraid. I mean, it's there. They're there to help you.
Yep.
And if it helps you to think of them more as angels than spirits, so be it. It's what makes you feel the most comfortable. And once you're comfortable and at ease with that idea, that's when they start talking to you. Okay?
All right. So we will see you guys later.
Have a great one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Be sure to book your readings with Gypsy Lady Eva, book your readings with and Brother Chris. Another great podcast to listen to is Haunting Live Podcast with your host Trevor, interviewing tons of people throughout the world. Listen on any of your podcast providers.
Check out our new website at HauntingLivePodcast.com.